Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So today is a very gloomy and suddenly rainy, muggy day here in London, and it's Friday, and so I thought I would try and keep up with the Fragrance Friday. It's probably not going to be every Friday because that would be an awful lot of fragrances, but I do have a new fragrance to show you today and talk a little bit about. New to me, that is. I should say straight away, in case you think I spend an awful lot of money on perfumes. I do, it's fair to say, but I don't spend quite as much as you might think because, as I think I've mentioned before, I do buy quite a lot of perfume either from discount sites that are selling overstocks, but those tend to be kind of big brand perfumes. Very difficult to find niche fragrances that way, in my experience. The other way I save money on fragrance is buying on eBay, which is, of course, risky. There are some fakes out there, although I think probably less in fragrances than people might think. If you're reasonably knowledgeable about fragrance, the packaging and so forth, it's pretty easy to spot fakes. And I'm not sure that they are mass-produced, certainly for purchase in Europe, other than with the really big names. Of course, Chanel is one of those, but I'm pretty confident that I can suss out the fakes of Chanel by doing my research. So I often find it's worth buying on eBay. There's usually a bit of a discount even with new products, people selling things that are gifts that they haven't wanted, or of course selling overstocks in the same way as some of the discount sites. The other thing I will do is buy half-used bottles of fragrance. I think that can, of course, again be risky if they've been badly handled, but good perfume tends not to go off too quickly and is a lot more resilient than some people think. And I know I myself have sold off half-used bottles of perfume fairly quickly where I've just got tired of the fragrance, and it's a good way of trying something for less money. So that's what I've done with this one. In fact, you can see I've only had it a couple of weeks and I haven't used all that, but I mean it's barely used, and I got a very good deal, probably about half the price that I would have paid for 50 ml eau de parfum in a shop. So just thought I would share that idea if you are a perfume fan. Pausing there, of course, the other thing you can do is go in for decants. You can do that on eBay, but I often find the decants are actually quite pricey. And it's better to actually buy, particularly if you're buying more than one, and so you can combine postage from a lot of specialist sites out there, particularly in the United States. And funnily enough, I found Australia as well, although the postage is higher there, and definitely worth doing that for decent sized decants, 5 ml or something like that, so you can get a really good trial of a perfume you've perhaps read about or had a quick sniff at the counter but really want to try it out before you invest in a full bottle, because good perfume is expensive. It's expensive to produce, and a lot goes on the marketing these days as well. So yeah, you are well advised to try out before you buy. Anyway, here we go with Chanel's number 19 Poudre, which is a newer formulation of the classic Chanel number 19. I'm not entirely sure when it first came along, certainly a few years ago. I do know that the nose behind the fragrance is Jacques Polge, who has been responsible for a lot of the reformulations in the last 10 years or so, and for quite a number of the Les Exclusives line, and his son Olivier is now nose with Chanel as well, turning out some very interesting fragrances. I think he is less well, I'm going to say less conservative than Jacques. It's early days, but Olivier is responsible for Misier and Boy, for example, which I think are very interesting kind of mixed fragrances. But Jacques is the older classic nose. I wanted to try this poudre version. I have mixed feelings about powder kind of fragrances. They can smell a bit fusty on me, and a lot of people think of them as quite old lady type perfumes. I can often appreciate them on others, but don't think they smell quite right on me. But I thought this was an interesting one. Number 19 is a perfume that I've bought in the past, the quite distant past, and worn. I don't really wear it now for kind of two reasons. Partly because a great friend, it's her signature fragrance, and it kind of feels wrong, although I have good memories of it because it's associated with her, to wear it myself. But also, although I do like the kind of refreshing, grassy, chypre type fragrances, which 19 is one, it's just a little too buoyant, a little too strong, a little too harsh for my taste. It's very, very grassy to me, very, very green. But I was interested how the poudre might soften the mix, and it definitely does. Just going to have another smell. You definitely get straight away that it's what I would describe as a classic Chanel, with that iris mid-note that you often get in Chanel's. I think it's a bit aldehydic, but I may be wrong about that. I don't know that that is particularly in the mix. You definitely get the iris. You definitely get more floral to me than the pure green notes in this version. I think the top notes are supposed to be fairly fruity, neroli and orange and galbanum. Then the classic mid notes of iris and jasmine. I find as I wear it, the jasmine comes out a little bit more on me. And then base notes of musk and vetiver. Definitely get the vetiver actually right from the beginning. I don't find it becomes too prominent as it dries down, which can be a problem for me because I have mixed feelings about vetiver, and I also have mixed feelings about musk, but I don't get a huge, certainly not an animalistic musk with this one. So it definitely has the kind of herbal chic of 19, but I think it smells more gently floral, really, rather than powdery. And so it kind of smooths the edges and makes it a refreshing but not harsh fragrance. So I really like that about it. It's just a nice, comfortable fragrance to wear. I'm going to say inoffensive. That sounds almost rude, as if it's, a bit boring. I don't think it is. But there are, certainly when I wear it, the dual disadvantages of it hasn't got a huge punch. It stays very close to the skin. And it doesn't last very well. This can be a problem with Chanel fragrances, usually more in the eau de toilette, but this is a eau de parfum. I find this feels that it's worn off within 2 to 3 hours, and I'm not smelling it even close to the skin at that stage. Having said that, it's a nice one to reapply. It's a nice one to spray before you go to bed, believe it or not. I often do that. I don't know if anyone else does. I'm not talking about on any seductive note. I mean, go to bed on my own. I just kind of like a nice fragrance to go to sleep with. And it's definitely a work-appropriate fragrance. I think it would go in most seasons. I've read people saying it's quite an autumnal, wintry scent. I'm not sure I agree. I think pretty year-round. it's clean, it's pretty, it's classic. So definitely if you like aspects of number 19 but find it too harsh or too green, this would be one to try. I think it's a multi-age fragrance, possibly not for the very young, but otherwise kind of across generations. It's not an outstanding, oh my God, what are you wearing type fragrance in my experience, but definitely worth a sniff, and I'm happy to have it in my collection at the moment. So until next Fragrance Friday, bye for now.